Hey guys, Lucky Star Shi-Roku here and welcome to another video. This is going to be my next video in the current saga I'm working on of videos that I want to go out over the next few weeks or whatever. So this is the next installment of that saga, I guess. And this one's a bit of an interesting, this one's a bit of an important one. One that I wanted to talk about for a while. It has been a while since I've actually done this, but as well, I'm sure you can probably tell by the thumbnail and the title and all that kind of stuff. So I have added more games to my library, my Let's Play library. So I can now do Let's Plays of a lot more games. Now, at first I'm thinking, like, before you saw the thumbnail or the title or whatever, I'm sure you're probably thinking, you already got a massive console collection as it is. Like, you know, you've already got the original Xbox, the GameCube, the PS2, the PS3, literally almost every single console apart from the Sega collection. You have every single console known under the sun. So what else could you possibly do to improve your LP library even further than that? And to answer that question is, throughout my childhood, I played a lot of games, PC games, that ran on the computer back in the Windows XP era. And for a long time, those games have not been working. But recently, well, I say recently, it's been a couple of months ago now since I actually did it, but I have gotten most of them games working. A lot, at least all my favourites at least. There may still be one or two that I need to get working, but the majority of the games I played as a kid I have gotten working, and that's what we're going to be showing in this video. I'm going to be showing you a few screenshots and talking over the process that I went through into getting them working, and any issues I ran into, because I have got them all into playable states and recordable states. I've already done tests on them, they work fine. Some of them have a few issues which I have actually found ways around, which I will talk about, but in this video I'm going to show you the games I have gotten working in Windows 10 from the XP era, talking about issues that I found and ways around them, and just stuff I went and what I did to get them working, all that kind of stuff. Now, if I remember, I can be forgetful at times, but if I remember, I will try and have links to everything in the description for each game. I will try and have a link to whatever I went to get these working. I'll have a list of what I did roughly, just to help you guys out if you want to play these games yourself. I will again, I might forget, but I'll try and have as much in the I'll try and have much in the description as I can to help you guys out if you do want to get these games working yourself. I will try and do that as well, if I remember. So yeah, let's quickly go to the housekeeping here. So housekeeping. So in this video, as I mentioned, I will show all the retro games I have added to my Let's Play roster. This will count games I remember playing on a CD-ROM at some point in the past, regardless if it's had a re-release since or still stuck on the original CDs. If I remember playing it on a CD-ROM at some point in the XP days, it's going to be covered. Okay, so moving on to ones. Okay, yeah, that's right. There are, like I mentioned, there are still a few bugs and stuff here and there, but yeah, I'll talk about those as well. And some of these games I might lump in together if they are similar enough. Like if they run on the same game engine or whatever, I will lump them all in together. But you know, we'll get to that. So let's begin. Okay, firstly, let's start off with the games that have since had more up-to-date releases. So let's talk about games that have had re-releases since their CD-ROM days. And the first one I'm going to cover is Sonic Adventure. Now, I'm not counting Sonic Adventure 2 since that was never on a CD-ROM before, but Sonic Adventure 1 was. Okay, so I think at this point it shouldn't be any surprise or secret that I am in the middle of a Let's Play of Sonic Adventure DE. I've been working on that for a while now. I think we're currently working on episodes 6 to 10, I think. Currently, we're in the middle of block 2. We're working on episode 8 as we speak. So it's no secret or surprise that I've gotten this working. So, like I said, I remember at one point I originally played, like when I got introduced to Sonic Adventure and Sonic as a whole. My first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure DX on the PC CD-ROM. One of the crappier versions of the game, but since then I have gotten the game on Steam, which is considered to be both the worst and best versions of the game, both at the same time. The worst, but also the best because you can mod it, and as you can see, I have done everything I can to make it feel more like the Dreamcast version, but with the DX improvements. So the best of both worlds, and that's what I've been doing throughout this entire Let's Play. So as you can see, I've got the game running on Steam. So I've got the Steam version, and it looks pretty nice. It runs pretty nice. No issues here whatsoever, obviously, because this has had a new release since the CD-ROM days. So obviously, if it's, you know, so it's pretty obvious I managed to get this one working no problem, which is brilliant. So yes. Sonic Adventure, I'm not going to say DX anymore because I hate DX. I consider DX to be the inferior version with its cheap, crappy looking graphics and inferior lighting engine. So I'm either going to refer to Sonic Adventure as Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure DE. I don't even want to acknowledge DX anymore. So yes, so Sonic Adventure on Steam. I will have a link to the Steam version. If I remember, I will have a link to all of this in the description. But yeah, I will have a link to the game, to the Steam version of the game, and all the mods and mod loader. I will have a link to everything if I remember. Hopefully that'll help out quite a bit. But let's move on to the next one because that's all I have to say on that. Okay, the next one is The Sims 3 and Medieval. Now, I'm lumping these games in together mainly because they've got the same issues and they basically run on the same engine, same graphics, so I'm lumping them all in together. Okay, first of all, starting out with The Sims 3. So, obviously, The Sims 3 is on Steam, which, so yeah, again, I did have this on CD-ROM originally, but I have now also got it on Steam, which is my preferred version. However, you might notice here there's something a little bit wrong if you look here. Yeah, so this is the Steam version. By the way, Medieval has the same exact issue, by the way. So this is what the game looks like. So yeah, so basically this is what the game looks like. So there's a few issues. The game's a lot darker actually. So there's a few issues here, mainly because, okay, so right now the game is in full screen mode, and this is what the game looks like. So, from my perspective, when I'm playing the game, it looks fine, but it looks a lot darker in recordings, and it's kind of laggy and takes a long time to load. Now, again, this is in full screen mode, but I have found a way around it. So that's in full screen. And this is what it will look like in recordings. It's a little unfortunate, but I have found a decent enough way around it. So, again, that's what it was like before, in full screen. And this is what it looks like in the settings I have chosen. So, basically, this is... I put the game into windowed mode by 1920 by 1080... 6.9 ratio. That is what I'm using, and as you can see, the game looks a lot better. The lighting looks a lot more accurate to what it's actually meant to look like. It looks exactly what it's meant to look like. It's not too bright. It's not too bright. If this is actually what the game is meant to look like, for both my perspective and in the recording, the game looks a lot. The game looks normal. And I've also found that the game runs a lot smoother and doesn't take as long to load. There are some bits where it takes a bit to load sometimes, but not as long as it was when it was in full screen. Again, I will show you a little bit of a comparison there. So that's it in full screen mode. As you can see, very, very dark from your perspective. And again, very laggy, takes a long time to load. And then this is what it looks like in windowed. A lot better. It's a little annoying because of this. Well, it looks a lot better. It's not a standard windowed mode where you couldn't resize it where it's in a small screen. It's actually a customized windowed mode, and it's a windowed mode I don't mind using. It's not great, but it's one that I can get behind using. It's what I can get used to. So yeah, that's what we're going to be using, the Steam version in windowed mode for recordings. It's my preferred. It's honestly, it's still not the best, but it works. It's better than having it in full screen mode, I found. And again, the game runs a lot faster as well. It's not as laggy like it was, which is another problem in itself. Okay, now moving on to Medieval. So again, I had this as a CD-ROM, but yeah, I did try to get this working on CD-ROM, but I was having issues and it just would not want to work at all. So I then basically got the Origin version. So by the way, I literally only have Origin just for the Sims Medieval. I know it's kind of pathetic, but what other choice did I have? And yes, as you can tell, it's got the same exact issues as what the Sims 3 was having. So again, this is an Origin. And so same exact issues. So again, this is in full screen mode. The game looks fine from my perspective, but in recording looks a lot darker, and again, laggy and takes a long time to load. Now, it doesn't take quite as long as The Sims 3, since the Sims Medieval doesn't have as much DLC in comparison, but it's still not ideal really when you think about it. So yeah, I've managed to get it working at least, so it looks a lot better. And again, it's a pretty easy fix. I've done the same thing with, okay, so again, that's it in full screen and that's it in windowed. Again, same issue, same fix. So again, same ratio. The lighting looks a lot more normal, runs smoother, less laggy. Again, not ideal, but it's manageable. It's one I can get behind. Obviously, it's a little unfortunate because you can see you can kind of see the bits at the top and the bottom, kind of similar to what I did with Sonic Adventure DE. But again, it worked. It's not total. It's a little annoying the fact those little black borders are there, but at least it's not 4 to 3. So it's a little annoying, but manageable. I mean, it's not completely distractible. It's not too distracting in Sonic Adventure, so it's manageable here too. But yeah, that's what we're going to go with. So that's the Origin version. Again, I will have links to all of these if you guys want to play these for yourself. But moving on to the next one. Startopia. Now, I know there has been another Startopia game on Steam recently. I think it came out last year in 2001. In 2021. I think called Starbase Startopia, I think it was. I think a very similar type of game. But I'm not referring to that one. I'm not referring to the new one which came out last year. I'm referring to the original one that came in 2001. So again, I had this on CD at one point, and well, the games came out on Steam. Now there's no issues. As you can see, it's running in 4 to 3 here, but the game itself has since had an update that lets you play it in widescreen, which is what I'll be doing. Obviously, by the time I record this, obviously that update hadn't came out at that time, but it has been, and that's what I'll be using when it comes to that Let's Play or stream or whatever I decide to do, because that might be a game that's alright to stream. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I haven't quite decided yet, but as you can see, no issues here. Again, there's the bio deck as well. Looks quite nice. Exactly like I remember it. But yeah, no issues, no bugs, no glitches, nothing from what I can tell at least. So there's not much else to say, but again, I will have a link in the description if you guys want to go and check it out yourself, as these are all blasts from the past for me, and I do recommend them if you like these types of games. So again, I will have all the links and advice in the description for you guys to follow along. Okay, that takes care of all the games that have since had initial releases that are more up to date. Now let's have a little look at the games that are still stuck on their initial CD-ROMs. Okay, Sonic Heroes. Now, firstly, I'm well aware that the game has also came out on Xbox, PS2 and GameCube, and I have got it on original Xbox, but honestly, I kind of prefer it on the PC version. I prefer the PC version, if I'm being honest, because I've managed to find a modded version. Well, I'm assuming by fans. I've managed to find one that looks a lot better, which I'll show you just now. So this is the original Xbox version, recorded from my own software, my own Elgato and all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, the game looks pretty grainy by comparison. Which, I mean, you know what? I suppose it's all right, since this was the original Xbox days. HD wasn't really a thing back then, so it's it's excusable. It's it didn't exist back then, so it's okay. It's it can be excused, I guess. But yeah, that's the original Xbox version, and this is the version I'll be using, the PC version that I've managed to find somewhere. As you can see, that looks a lot better. Like, it's a lot, like, I don't know, it might even be 4K for all we know. So again, that's the original Xbox version, 4:3 ratio, pretty grainy. And then there's the PC version, the PC CD-ROM version, which it's in widescreen. It's, I don't know, it might even be 4K for all we know. So but that looks a lot nicer, and that's the version I want to use. And I've also even managed to get my controller working with it. Unfortunately, the game doesn't recognize my controller having triggers, so it's a little annoying, but it's still manageable. And again, that's another reason why I want to use this version, because the original Xbox controls are kind of clunky, and it's just a bit more harder to use. Whereas, obviously, modern day controls will feel a lot more natural and not as clunky. So that's the one I want to use. But again, it just looks so much nicer. Now, there are a few issues, since obviously this game, again, this was the original PC version. Now, the modders or whatever have managed to upscale the game, which does look very, very nice. But obviously, the game obviously wasn't meant to be upscaled that much, which you can kind of notice. Like, if you look very, very closely in some parts, you can kind of see where it's not meant to be upscaled. For example, if you look very closely, particularly at Cream, if you look very closely at Cream's eyes, you can kind of see where the eye texture is freaking out a little bit, like it's pixelating a little bit. Like, you can kind of see where the eye texture's not sure what it's supposed to be doing there. Like, the eye texture's like, what's going on? I don't think I'm meant to be doing this. And as a result of that, the eye texture has kind of bugged up a little bit. But now, it is a glitch, it is a graphical glitch, but all things considered, that I think this is forgivable, since, again, it's to be expected, since the game wasn't meant to be upscaled to this degree. And all things considered, it's not too distractible. Again, the game all around looks much nicer than this one. So I'd say it's one that I'm willing to forgive. It's, again, it's only there if you're looking for it, really. And again, you know, they're not always going to be facing the camera, so it's not too bad. Not too bad. But again, if you look at Cream, you can kind of see where the texture is just freaking out a little bit. And all things considered, the game does look a lot nicer. And is, you know, the better controls, the widescreen, the 4K resolution, or better looking resolution. I don't know if it is actually 4K, but yeah, this is the version I want to use for the Let's Play. It's still probably not going to be for a while, but at least now we have the option. Once again, if I remember, if I can find everything, I will have links to what I did in the description. Little advice. I will have tips and stuff and links to each game or whatever if I remember. Yes, that is Sonic Heroes that I'm going to be using. Looks a lot nicer. However, this being a old XP era type of game that obviously wasn't meant to be upscaled and wasn't obviously meant to be windowed. Now, this is going to come up a lot in the next few games. So, obviously, I can't speak on behalf of all YouTubers here, but me personally, the Windows key or Alt-Tab are very important keys for me because basically what they allow me to do is they allow me to temporarily leave the game without closing it, so I can go and check my recording softwares, make sure everything is recording properly, and then jump back into the game. So when doing a lot of these games, when doing a lot of prep, oops, sorry, I did not mean to do that, sorry about that. But yeah, the problem is, so what I'll do is I'll hit the Alt Tab and Windows, which will allow me to get back to the main screen of my computer, so I can check my software, check all that without actually closing the game, which is a lot convenient since. So I can just jump out the game temporarily, make sure everything is recording properly, and then jump back in. But doing that with some of these games causes a few issues. Basically, it makes the game a buggy mess that I don't want to record in. So let me show you. So this is what the game looks like after I've done it, and it will stay like that until we run into a... I think it'll stay like that until either I close the game or run into a cutscene, and obviously I don't really want it to look like that. So it's a little unfortunate, but I have found a way around it. So any game that I can't window out of, I have found a workaround. I found a solution. So any game I can't do that with, I found a way around. I will record the main game on my desktop as per usual using my usual keyboard shortcuts. But the recording I will have, like the voice recording, like I will have Audacity recording on a separate machine. For instance, my laptop back here. I was actually, before recording this, I was actually going to do a little test just to make sure that works. Just to test my theory, but I have another laptop here behind me, and that's what I'm going to do. So, any game I can't use my typical recording setup, I will record the main game on my desktop as usual. And I will also have the commentary recorded on my laptop behind me or somewhere in the room. So, basically, I will have the main video recorded on my desktop as usual, and I'll have Audacity recording on another machine somewhere nearby. I know it's a little convoluted, but it works. Yeah. Not the best setting, not the best setup. A little convoluted, I will agree, but it works. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, so the Jimmy Neutron games, the two Jimmy Neutron games, the best version of the games from what I've heard. So Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius and Jimmy Negatron, Jimmy Neutron versus Jimmy Negatron. So Once again, I'm going to have to use the same setup as I mentioned. So this is how the game looks. Again, this is the CD-ROM version since it's the only version, and these games have since been considered like abandonware. So unfortunately, I can't help you find these that easily if you don't already have the game. I'm sorry, there are not going to be any links, but to anyone who has able to find versions of the game, or if anyone has found versions of the game on, I don't know, on Good Old Games or whatever, anyone who has already gotten the game or gotten the games through Good Old Games or whatever, I will have advice on how I got these working. All I'll really say here is basically just install a crack that I will have a link in the description, hopefully. So install the crack and then just install the crack, just follow the directions I give you, and just play the game in just play the game in compatibility mode with Windows XP and it should work. Again, I will have everything in the description that I can to help you out. If you want to play these games yourself, I will have all that in the description to help you out. Again, I can't help you get the game yourself since it's unfortunately considered abandonware these days. I was just lucky enough to actually have these games anyway, which is good. But yeah, that is how Jimmy Neutron looks, and as you can see, same thing with Jimmy Neutron and Jimmy Negatron. They look they look and run just fine, no glitches. Obviously the keyboard's a bit clunky since obviously it's it's a game from the early 2000s, so that's kind of to be expected. But I found no glitches at all. Again, all I did was install the crack, install the crack to install the crack to make sure it works. I think for some things there is also something to bypass the thing where you need the disc, but again, I still need to look into that a little more. But all the same, the game works and looks just fine. No glitches, no graphical glitches, everything works fine. Just, again, follow what I put in the description to help you out. Run the game in compatibility mode and you should have no trouble there. Again, that's both versions of the game. No problems here, so let's move on to the next thing. Okay, next game to talk about is the Harry Potter PC Trilogy by No Wonder. So, in case you guys don't know, the Harry Potter games there were a lot of them back in the day. So, back in, again, early 2000s, for some reason, there were multiple versions of the first three Harry Potter games. So, there was obviously the PS1 versions, which were separate from the console versions, which is PS2, Xbox and GameCube, and then there's the PC versions by No Wonder. Now, this was only the first three games, so the first three games, that being Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone for anyone in America, Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, these versions of the game were completely different from the PS2, GameCube and Xbox versions. Completely different to the point where they're worth their own Let's Play, hence on why I'm doing these Let's Plays as well as the console versions eventually. But again, these games have I've got them working. I'll have links in the description as well. Unfortunately, these are also considered abandonware, so unfortunately I can't help you there, but I will, if you have the game already, I will have links to help you out, links for the cracks and advice on what to do to get the game working if you do already have the game. Sorry I can't help you get the game, but it's abandonware. It's a little unfortunate, but oh well. I'll help you as much as I can, but I can't get. I don't know. Maybe there is some way you can get the game on, maybe on Good Old Games. I don't know, but again, I will help you as much as I possibly can. But let's quickly look over at the games. So, like I said, games from the early 2000s weren't meant to be minimized and obviously do cause a few issues. So a problem I've noticed is that with the first two games at least, there are transparency issues. Now, it's a little harder to notice here These issues are mainly caused by, again, using Windows or Alt-Tab, which is, again, something I use a lot, just so I can check to make sure everything is recording properly. Which, again, I mentioned during Sonic Heroes. But, yeah, I am able to leave, but when I come back, the game is not as it should be. It doesn't glitch the game like it did with Sonic Heroes, but it does cause transparency glitches, which you'll see. Now, it's a little harder to notice here, but I've actually put a red ring around it. If you notice, if you look very closely at Harry's reflection, you'll kind of notice that there's it helps the fact that I'm wearing glasses here as well. But if you can kind of look around Harry's glasses, you can kind of see where there's a grey kind of box where his glasses should be, but aren't, if that makes any sense. Yeah, you can kind of see like a grey box around here. It's a bit easier to notice in Chamber of Secrets, but it has the same issue for the first two games at least. So again, it's a little easier to notice here, as you'll have noticed. Apparently there is also something to help remove this completely, apparently. But, you know, I mean, I'll look into it in the meantime, see if, you know, Aragorn said he'd help me out or whatever, but, yeah. Thankfully, these glitches in this game, at least, tend to disappear after, Harry's, like, roundabout, like, this glitch does also start in, this glitch is also seen at the start of the game, but luckily, stops before Harry's first voice lines, thankfully. As you can see it a lot better now. So if you look at Harry's glasses, you can see the glitch there, and also if you look behind Lockhart, you can kind of see the same kind of glitch over there with the torch on the wall. If you see there, but luckily these glitches do tend to disappear after Harry's first voice lines as well. Which is good, but obviously if you window out the game, the glitches come back. But obviously, Aragorn has told me there is a fix for it, which I probably will look into in the meantime. But again, I will be using the same, like, for these games, I will be using the same method as in Sonic Heroes, recording the main game on my desktop and recording Audacity on my laptop behind me. Again, a little convoluted, but it works. Okay, and next we move on to Prisoner of Azkaban, and luckily it looks like No Wonder have managed to fix this glitch completely here. As you can see, there's no glitch around Harry's glasses at all. I am able to Windows out of this game as much as I like, but just in case, I'm still probably going to use the same method, just in case, There's nothing shown here, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm probably going to use the same method, but as you can see here, no transparency glitches, which is nice. And I do think that it looks a lot nicer. I mean, I do like the classic graphics here, but they do look nice. The characters look a lot more older, and it does make a bit more sense for this, for this more realistic looking game, considering that things are meant to get a little darker from this point on. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the No Wonder trilogy. Looks very nice. And now we're moving on to The Sims 2 and The Sims Story trilogy. So that's The Sims 2, The Sims Life Story, Pet Story, and Castaway Stories. Again, I'm lumping these games in together, similar to how I did with The Sims Medieval and 3, just because they're using the same engine. Okay, so here's how the game looks. It runs perfectly. I've got it to work using a crack and all that kind of stuff. I still need the disc to get it to actually work, but as you can see, no problem here from what I can tell. Obviously, there's the 4:3 ratio, which there might be a way to fix that. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the game runs perfectly fine, even in 4:3. I mean, again, I hate 4:3, but again, it's a game from the early 2000s, at least I think the early 2000s. I can't remember exactly when The Sims 2 came out, but it's kind of to be expected, you know. Maybe there's a fix for it now. I don't know through modding, but I may look into it in the meantime. But it doesn't look bad. I mean, it looks all right. All things considered, it looks all right. However, there is a glitch that I have noticed. It's got a pretty easy fix, and again, I will actually show you here. So this point in the video, this will act as a tutorial to anyone who's playing the game. Again, it does work. There are methods to get the games working, which I will show you, in the description, and I will talk about all that kind of stuff. I'll help you out as much as I possibly can in the description, as well as here, and I'll help you out as much as I can. And again, CD-ROM for this one, it was on Origin at one point, but no longer, unfortunately. But yes, you'll notice here there is a glitch around the Sims feet if the Sims are indoors, but it's a very, very easy fix. You don't even need a glitch or a hack for this. It's just easy to fix in the main game. So basically, how to fix this glitch is basically you want to go to your options here, which is the little dot icon, the little three dots below the storybook icon, which I've highlighted there. So you want to go into there, which is your menu, and then you want to go to graphics performance options, which is the little monitor screen, which again I've highlighted. Okay, next you want to go into graphics and performance options. You want to go into shadows, and by default the shadows will be set to high, and that is the issue. Because it's set to high, and because it's obviously the game's not meant to run in anything higher. The game's not meant to run on anything past XP, so the game's kind of freaking out. But it's an easy fix. So basically, what you want to do is you want to set your shadow options to either medium or off. So basically, just don't set it to high. Set it to medium or off, and that'll pretty much fix it. And then after that, you just want to apply the changes. You want to apply changes, and after that, the black box glitch will be fixed. And this fix will also work for this fix will also work for the Sims story game. So it'll work for Sims Pet Stories, the Sims Life Story, Pet Story, and Castaway Story, presumably. I say presumably because Castaway Stories is the one game I don't have yet, but if it works for them, it'll most likely work for that one too. So again, this fix will work for The Sims 2 and the free story games. So there's a bit of advice for you there. So hopefully that works for you as well. It should do. And the last game I want to, at least I think the last game I want to touch upon here is the classic original Sims 1. Oh boy, what a blast from the past here. I imagine a lot of people are going to feel very nostalgic here. And again, I do plan to do Let's Plays of all of these eventually. But as you can see, there's the game. Once again, 4 to 3. Again, to be expected. It did come out in the early 2000s, so it is kind of to be expected. But all things considered, the game looks surprisingly well, all things considered. It runs well. Again, I did have to do a few things to get it to working, like playing the game, running the game in compatibility mode with a game crack, just to bypass certain things and bypass the needing a disk DMR stuff. So there's a few things I had to do, but all things considered, the game looks surprisingly well. But again, being a game from that era, it doesn't come without it. Being a game from that era does also come with its issues. Once again, I can't use my favorite keys to minimize the screen and make sure the game is okay. It's a bit more severe this time. That's putting it lightly. So yeah, it causes the game to be completely unplayable. What I mean by this is what it looks like. Now, this is not my doing. You might think that I've just been a crazy person and deleted the town. I have not. This is a result of the game glitching. So, as you can see, the town is still there, it's just invisible. And it will remain invisible until you click on the house or whatever, and the UI will only be there when you click on it. Now that's a big problem. UI in a game like that needs to be visible all times in case you get a notification and, you know, an important notification, you know, making a decision. UIs need to be on screen at all times, so that's a big problem. So once again, I'll be using the same method as I did for Sonic Heroes and the Jimmy Neutron games and the Harry Potter games, using my main desktop for recording and recording Audacity commentary on my laptop behind me. Again, it's convoluted, but it works. But yeah, that's not the only issue it causes. Like, yes, this might look pretty bad, like the town goes invisible and you can't see the UI unless you click on it. But that's only a little of the problem that it causes, because I wish I was joking about this one. I really, really do. But in some cases, it can even cause a blue screen of death and cause you to shut your computer down by force. Yeah. I wish I was joking about that one, but I'm not. Yeah, while I was messing around with this, just trying to get things to work, just, you know, because obviously when you're playing games games like this old, you want to do tests, you want to mess around and experiment, see what works, see what doesn't work, you know, test the waters, test the limits. And whilst testing this, I was messing around a little bit, and yeah, it actually caused my computer to blue screen like you see here. Yeah. I was a little scared when I saw this, but it can, in some cases, it can actually cause your game to blue screen and cause you to, and it will not go away until you manually shut down the computer by the button, which is not recommended. So, yeah, I definitely recommend, if you are going to record, just use the same method I've suggested here, just because, yeah, and for all I know, it could also corrupt your save data or corrupt your computer, so I do not recommend it. So, yeah, that's a big problem there. And I wish I was joking about that one. But, yeah, that's all I have to say in this video. So, again, a bit like a video essay in a way. But, yes, I intend to do Let's Plays of all these games at some point in the future. Again, probably do more tests in the process to see if I can get certain things working, but yeah, that's gonna about do it for this video, this little video essay. There was something else that I wanted to mention here, but I think it might be best to give that its own video because it's worth it enough. So I'll do that at some point. I'm not sure when, but yeah, I'll make that its own video all in due time. But anyway, that is gonna about do it for this video. I hope the advice I offer in the description and the video helps if you want to play these games yourself. Again, sorry about the Abandonware if I can't help there, unless they are somewhere, because I suppose technically Sonic Heroes is considered Abandonware too, and I was able to get that, so maybe there are ways of getting those games somehow if you look hard enough, perhaps, I don't know. But again, I hope all the advice I offer in the video and in the description helps out. I'll have all the links in the description if I remember. But again, as always, I do appreciate you watching these videos and supporting me. So again, that's going to about do it for now. And until then, have a good day, you guys. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. It always helps out tremendously, and remember, if you do want to help out even more, then make sure you hit the like button on your way out if you did enjoy and want to see more. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new. ring the bell, turn on notifications, check the sub box, check the channel regularly. If you want to be a bigger part of the fandom and keep up with me and what I'm doing, join my official Discord server. Check out the links below. And with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Cue the outro.